I have commanded relay Aldous for 31 years, and for the last 9 of them my only true duty has been to listen to a channel that will not open. The relay sits on the last buoy before the dark widens into what every chart in Kelvin space simply calls the reach, the outer edge of human space, the region we do not cross. The cartographers who drew that boundary did not mark it forbidden in red, the way danger is usually marked. They marked it with nothing at all. No color, no notation. They simply stopped drawing, the way a historian stops a sentence rather than finish it with a word he cannot prove. My crew is small and changes every few years because no one stays at all this long by choice. Those who do stay learn the relay's one unspoken rule before anyone tells them. You do not speculate out loud about what is on the other side of the last buoy. You log the silence. You do not narrate it. 9 years ago, a courier ship limped into Aldous with half her hull burned away and a message scratched by hand into her own log because her transmitter had failed somewhere out past the buoys. Senna, Ire alive. Held. Station designate Thornwell. The name meant something to every officer on this relay. Senna had drawn 3 of our finest border charts before she ever volunteered for forward reconnaissance. She was the kind of cartographer who could not leave a blank space alone, who took the absence of data as a personal insult rather than a warning. She went out past the line to map a debris field nobody else would map, and the line took her the way it takes everything, and for 2 years we had assumed she was dust among the rest of it. The courier's scratch log was the first word anyone had received from beyond the buoys in living memory, and it arrived already half believed and half doubted before it ever reached my desk. I signed the order myself, name and rank both, Fleet Commander Jorndes, Relay Aldous as regulation requires, and I want to be honest about why I did it. Not because I believed we could win against whatever held that station, but because I no longer believe the old warnings the way I once had. I had read every report the Compact kept on the Reach. 3 centuries of them, ships gone, fleets gone, entire colonization efforts erased without a single distress call logged anywhere, and every one of them ending the same way, with a phrase some long-dead clerk had chosen and every clerk after had simply copied. I decided, the way confident men decide things, that the reports were old and we were not. 2 of my senior officers argued against the mission in this very room. I overruled them both, and I told them, I remember the exact words because I have turned them over so many times since, that a warning repeated for 300 years without a single fresh data point was not a warning anymore. It was a habit. 12 operatives, the finest extraction unit the Compact had ever fielded, call sign Talon. I gave them a 56-hour window and my own name on the order that sent them. Talon left this relay on a gray morning with full sensor coverage and clean readiness reports across the board. I watched their drive trail bend past the last buoy and thin into a darkness that does not look any different from ordinary darkness, which is somehow worse. You want the forbidden zone to announce itself, to glow wrong or hum wrong, or show some scene where the universe changes its rules. It never does. It is only space. It becomes the Reach because of what has not come back out of it, and nothing else. Their first 2 check-ins arrived on schedule, clipped and ordinary. Orbital insertion achieved, no contact, no resistance, a derelict station sitting exactly where the burned courier's log had placed it. Their 3rd check-in came 4 minutes late, and the relay operator on duty noted the delay in her log because 4 minutes mattered to her the way it should matter to anyone listening for a friend. Talon's lead, a woman named Koro Vey who had walked away from 11 prior extractions without once apologizing for moving slowly and carefully, reported docking confirmed, station atmosphere stale but breathable. Then she said the only thing of hers the operator wrote down word for word, because something in Koro's voice told her it deserved to survive. It's too quiet for a station that's supposed to be holding a prisoner. Either there's no one keeping her in there, or there's something keeping everyone else out. That was the last full sentence relay Aldous ever received from Talon, 12. 40 minutes later, we caught 11 seconds of open channel. No voice in it, only the flat, particular static of a transmitter keyed and then abandoned. And after that, nothing. Not quiet. Nothing. The 56-hour window passed, and we extended it and extended it again. And when extending it a third time felt like a lie, I was telling myself in front of the whole relay crew, I sent a single drone instead. Unmanned, unarmed, carrying no crew to lose, and nothing in its design that could provoke whatever was or was not waiting at Thornwell. It came back exactly once, hull intact, optics clean, full power across every system. Exactly 56 hours after it left, as though it had kept the same schedule we had set for Talon. Its log showed no record of ever reaching the station at all. The recording simply restarted 19 hours into the flight, as if something had reached into the drone's own memory and folded that stretch of time closed, the way you would fold a letter you decided you would rather no unread. The council convened on all this itself, which had not happened in my command before or since. They reviewed the gap in the drone's memory, set it beside 3 centuries of nearly identical gaps left by 100 other species' failed crossings, cataloged by 100 other relays exactly like this one, and reaffirmed the Reach's forbidden designation without a single dissenting vote. Then, almost as an afterthought, almost as a kindness to themselves, they amended the official record to note that Senna Ayer's message could not be independently verified and should not be treated as confirmation that the station or anyone inside it had ever existed at all. That is the part of this I have never made my peace with. Not that we lost 12 operatives and the one fragile warning that had survived to reach us, but that the Compact's chosen remedy for losing them was to make the reason officially uncertain, so that no commander after me would ever have the excuse I gave myself the morning I signed that order. I still keep this relay lit. I still open Koro Vay's old frequency twice a shift, because on some nights I let myself believe that if the channel ever wakes, it will be her voice on the other end of it, and not the silence that has answered every shift for 9 years running. New officers rotate through all this now who were not born when Talon left, and they have already turned the story into something closer to scripture than record. They recite Koro's last sentence to each other in the mess the way older crews once recited warnings about the Reach itself, and I let them, because a story that frightens a recruit into being careful has done more good than 3 centuries of clerk-copied phrasing ever did. I know better than the new officers by now. I have read the gap in the drone's memory more times than any sane officer should, and I have come to understand something the old warnings never quite said outright. The humans do not need a fleet at this border, and they do not need a voice on this channel, because the absence itself is the only message they have ever sent us. What they hold completely. What they take, they do not return. Not the body, not the ship, not even 19 recorded hours from a machine with nothing in it worth keeping. I do not know whether Senna Ayer is alive inside that station, or whether she ever truly reached it at all. I have stopped believing that is a question I am meant to have an answer to. I know only this. Talon, 12 crossed the last buoy in good order, with full power and a 56-hour window, and my signature behind them, and that nothing has come back through this channel in 9 years, and that the chart still carries no notation for where they went, because the cartographers have never found a mark small enough for a silence that complete. I will keep this relay lit until command retires me or this console outlasts me, whichever comes first, and when the next officer asks me why, I will tell them exactly what I have told you tonight, once in full, because after tonight I do not intend to speak of Talon 12 again.